So, Fox News had a little video they put together on the 5 a few days ago, talking about the issue currently going on right now with impeachment, Trump, Joe Biden, Ukraine, Hunter Biden, China, so on, so forth. Okay, I think regardless of how you feel about Fox News, they laid out the case perfectly, how this will be nothing but a complete flop for the Democrats. It will not get them the result they somehow think they're going to get from this, much less the result their base probably wants from this. Okay, and we'll actually cover on what could get those results during this video. But without any further ado, I would like to get straight into this clip from Fox News, let you hear it straight from them, and then we'll discuss.
The first impeachment witness appearing on Capitol Hill today, it comes as President Trump and Joe Biden continue to attack each other over Ukraine. Here's the latest. Former Special Envoy to Ukraine, Kurt Volker, testifying behind closed doors. Meanwhile, House Intelligence Chair Adam Schiff saying he's facing new scrutiny after it was revealed that the whistleblower, had contact with the House Intelligence Committee before filing the complaint. Now, here is the president's latest attack on Schiff and Biden.
Schiff has now been proven to be a liar. We've known it for 3 years because they've been trying to impeach for 3 years. He's a liar. He's a stone-cold liar. If they were honest about it, they'd start a major investigation into the Bidens. And by the way, likewise, China should start an investigation into the Bidens, because what happened in China is just about as bad as what happened with Ukraine.
Biden is fighting back against Trump's attacks, but raising new questions by admitting he talked to his son about Ukraine.
Mr. Trump and his hatchet men, and the special interests funding his attacks against me. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going to destroy me, and you're not going to destroy my family. I talked to my son. We've communicated. He lives out in California. We communicated a couple times, but look, there is zero evidence of any assertion being made.
And other Democrats are going after Trump as well, claiming the president is scared of impeachment.
I think the president knows the argument that can be made against him, and he's scared.
He also is actually obviously motivated by fear.
Clearly, he's afraid for the public to see either one of those things.
He's afraid of just how badly he may be beaten in November.
Dana, I was, struck that the president, people saying, oh, you shouldn't have called and talked to the Ukrainian president about getting dirt on Joe Biden. Today, he says just out loud, yeah, China, I'd like you to go get some dirt.
Yeah, he's saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
And it's different. And basically he's saying, okay, American people, you decide if this is wrong. Now, some Democrats will say, well, there's a law, and the law says you can't do this. But then President Trump is saying, well, there's laws against corruption as well. And so he's just basically putting it out there. I don't think he's afraid. I think that's a talking point. You can always tell when the bat signal has gone out with the word. Now, everybody say the word afraid today, and you'll get a gold star in your chart at the end of the day. The thing about Schiff having the whistleblower complaint before, it does, I think for Nancy Pelosi, her deputizing him to be basically the spokesperson on this is not a clear-cut win for her, because he, made up the parody of the phone call that he led the serious hearing with just keeps coming up over and over again. And then there's this question of why weren't you completely forthcoming? Now, I think they have a good point that they could say, well, the White House had the heads up about the whistleblower account because the CIA had gone to the White House lawyers, first of all, before they went to the Justice Department. So that gets a little bit more complicated. But I think Schiff, as a spokesperson for this It's not necessarily great for Nancy Pelosi, but I don't think she has any other good options. She's probably going to have to drive this train herself.
All right, so Jesse, the question that Dana raises, I think, is the one on a lot of people's minds. So is this wrong or is it illegal? We know today that the chairwoman, I should say, of the Federal Election Commission, Ellen Weintraub, retweeted that you can't do this, that it's illegal to ask another country for help, anything of value in terms of getting dirt on a political opponent. Our senior judicial analyst, Judge Napolitano, he said, just the summary of the phone call with the President Zelensky of Ukraine shows, and I'm quoting here, criminal and impeachable behavior.
I respectfully disagree with Judge Napolitano, and I would like to hold up another treaty.
Yes.
This is the treaty we have signed in 2000 with China for corruption and criminal things that we can ask them about and we can pull documents from. And just because Joe Biden happens to be running against the president doesn't make him above the law. Okay, he could drop out tomorrow and then Trump could ask China. Get out of here. You're saying the U.S. government and the Chinese government and the Ukrainian government can't ask questions about the Biden family because he's a politician? It's crazy. So I believe that trumps any sort of FEC violation. Also, it boils down to this. Trump is draining the swamp, and that's what the Democrats want him impeached for. And they care more about him fingering their corruption than the actual corrupt acts themselves. And he's going to swing for the fences, like you said. He's going to double down and do this right out in the sunlight, and he's going to say, why are you trying to impeach me? Let the Americans vote on this. Now, the Chinese thing also uncovered some more interesting facts about Hunter. Because Hunter is in business with John Kerry's son-in-law, Heinz. And what did they do in 2017? They cut a deal with a Chinese communist-backed company for $600 million for an automobile firm. And you know what that Chinese-backed company had done a few years before? Stolen American technology and used it on their stealth fighter jets. And you know who let the deal go through? John Kerry, when he was Secretary of State, also while Joe Biden was vice president. To say that that is zero evidence of corruption, you put that to the American people and you think they're going to say, oh, yeah, nothing to see here? That's crazy. And there's a long laundry list of Biden family members for sale. If you look at Hunter, if you look at his brother, his $1.5 billion deal in Iraq, while Joe was the point man for Iraq. So the whole thing's crazy. And if you look at what Hillary Clinton was when she was running for Senate in 2000 in New York, Bill Clinton pardoned all those Puerto Rican terrorists so she could get the Puerto Rican vote. Or in 1999, when Rudy was mayor here and he was considering running for Senate against Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton sent the feds to go investigate Rudy and the NYPD. So there's no corruption there. Or how about Hillary when she's Secretary of State or running for president? Her foundation's getting tens of millions of dollars from Morocco, Saudi Arabia. That's not foreign interference in the election? Come on.
Well, okay. Those Democrats.
And now to commercial break.
Oh, man. Oh, that. Hey, if I was Juan Williams, because obviously Juan Williams is sort of like the Democrat voice, kind of, sort of, on the five. Juan didn't have much rebuttal today, did he? Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Now, say what you want about the five. Say what you want about Jesse Waters. Say what you want about Fox News, okay? You can agree with them, you can disagree with them. What I don't think can be debated here is that they're not having to search for propaganda that they have to try to somehow really strain to get the people to believe or something. In other words, something that is a constant argument against Fox News is that, oh, it's the way they frame stuff. It's just the way they word things, the way they treat their guests, the way they talk to them. It's all in the framing, the framing. You don't have to frame a frickin' thing here. He just went through a list of things that are tied to the Bidens and the Clintons and the Democrats. Now, does that mean there's nothing you could find remotely close to that on the Republican Party? Please. Of course you could. You could find that all day long on the Republican Party. You're going to find it all day long on the Democrat Party. And do you know why? Because as Jesse Ventura likes to put it, we have a system where you have legalized bribery. Okay? That's what we have. We have legalized bribery. That's what all this super PAC, big money funding, that's what it's about. Buying and selling the politicians. Now, of course, Jesse Waters, after he really lit in with the whole treaty issue, then Trump's trying to drain the swamp. And I know Trump said that. You be your judge if you think Trump's draining the swamp. My problem with Trump really draining that swamp is he's added a few other swamp creatures that retired some years ago. So if you're trying to drain the swamp, and some of these creatures have already left the swamp, why'd you bring them back? Why'd you bring John Bolton back? Why did you put so much of the Republican status quo into your cabinet? Why did you put war hawks into your cabinet when you're not supposed to be pro-war? Again, I think just in the interest of fairness and honest reporting, whether you like Trump, whether you hate Trump, if you like him, you should at least be willing to ask those questions why he's flip-flopping on issues like that, saying one thing and doing another. There's no harm in that. There's no harm in that. Okay? It's just expecting your government to tell you the truth. You can like the president and still wonder why he's doing certain things that are a little questionable. The president is not God himself. He's not going to be perfect all the time, nor is he ever going to be. So when he flip-flops, call him on it. Question him on it. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you think there is, you're really not following a form of patriotism. You're following tribalism. Remember, Thomas Jefferson said that dissension is the greatest form of patriotism. You need to hold the leaders accountable. You need to hold the people in power accountable. And with that being said, okay, the whole argument about this whole impeachment business is that, well, we have to have laws. We must follow laws, and the president is not above the law. That's the looking down the nose argument that they're making. That, the president can't be allowed to get away with these things. Who does he think he is? Just because he's the president of the United States doesn't mean he can get away with treason. That's their whole attitude here. Okay, so there's a law out there that says he can't work with a foreign government to investigate a political opponent. Now, Jesse Waters made this on another video of the 5 I saw at least a week or so ago. And the case he made there was, so if I don't want to be investigated for anything, all I have to do is say I'm running for president and it's done? Really? So if we just announce we're running for office, Trump and his DOJ and all, or state governments, no one could reach out to foreign government to investigate me. All I got to do is say I'm running for office. Well, here's the problem. Jesse Waters, on 2 occasions now, on the 5, has shown treaties that we have with foreign governments, okay, that we are allowed to collaborate with them to gather information on investigations when we need. They can collaborate with us. We can collaborate with them. There's been one from China. There's been one for Ukraine. Okay? As Waters pointed out right there, the one in China was in 2000. Now, again, if it's such taboo, why do you have those treaties? Well, let's say you make that argument because it's a political opponent. So if the president's not above the law, what makes Joe Biden above the law? Really? So, okay, because Trump did something because it was a political opponent, that violated some law, well, we're going to hold you accountable. But there's clear evidence of corruption within the Biden family. We're not going to hold you accountable. Oh, except, who else reached out to help from a foreign government to work against the Trump campaign? And they had some help from the sitting president. Who could that have been? What was it? Hillary Clinton? Who you don't say. And she got some help from the Obama administration. Oh, really? And where's the investigation into that? Where are the high crimes and misdemeanors into that? Now, again, you can hold your stance that they should go forward with this impeachment inquiry. Just be prepared. You're giving the Trump campaign the best ammunition possible. So beware of that. If you don't like President Trump, you supporting what the Democrats are doing with this, as blatant as this corruption is, you're going to help Trump win the next election decisively. Because for one, with this impeachment moving forward, it's going to take a lot of attention away from the Democrats running for office. That means there's going to be less time on news outlets for them to get their message out. Why? Excuse me. Pundits on these news outlets will be bombarding the airwaves with the impeach Trump message and agenda. They won't be talking about the plans that anyone running has for the American people. Oh, sure, it might be brought up some. And, of course, who are the main ones they're going to bring up? Oh, Joe Biden, Klobuchar, Booker. Even some polls just come out recently showed that Andrew Yang has had massive fundraising. When they talk about the numbers that came in, who are they putting up on the screen? Biden, Warren, Harris, Booker, and Sanders. But Booker? Cory Booker? Andrew Yang way outraised Cory Booker. Massive spike in Andrew Yang's fundraising. You didn't hear hardly a word. Not one word. So that means any of the outsiders who are running on the DNC's Democrat platform that already have a really hard time getting any airtime, push this impeachment agenda, they're going to stick to the status quo, and those people, they're just going to get killed from the whole thing altogether. That's what's going to happen. And the Trump campaign is then going to take this double standard crap. They're going to take all this information. They're going to say, look, okay, you found something that you could say is against the law, but we could cite you former presidents doing the same thing. We can also cite you that what you're saying we committed a crime on, hey, we're trying to expose corruption from the other side. Because no one's holding them accountable. And that's why we did it. And we've got treaties that said if it was a regular person, we could do it. But the Democrats want to say that because he's running for office, I'm breaking the law by trying to expose just what a corrupt man Joe Biden is. You're handing him the perfect defense. The perfect defense. And when more and more things come out, like, for example, Joe originally claiming he never talked to his son about any business dealings, and then having to admit he did, and of course Trump's tweet that Nickelback apparently filed a copyright claim about. Trump put a tweet out. They've dug up a picture of Joe Biden, his son, some random guy, and I think it was like the president of the Ukrainian gas company Hunter Biden was working with. All taking a nice little picture before they played a game of golf. Of course, Trump tweets out the video, Nickelback's Photograph music video, where Nickel, the lead singer, he's holding up the picture, and they've got the Biden picture cropped in right there. So, Trump, hey, you're handing this guy the ammunition. And so if you don't like him, you need to be mindful of that. You need to be mindful of that, okay? This approach that they're taking and the reason that they're looking for right now, it ain't gonna fly. It ain't gonna fly, okay? Now, what could possibly work if they really wanted to push an impeachment agenda? Well, Kyle Kulinski seems to think you could go after him with emoluments because Saudi Arabia is pumping money in through Trump's DC hotels. Of course, in exchange, Trump keeps selling the Saudis boatloads of weapons. Oh, and now he's putting American troops over in Saudi Arabia to protect the Saudis, even though we just sold them how many arms recently? He also would not sign the bipartisan bill to stop giving aid to Saudi Arabia to conduct their genocide in Yemen. Of course, he did have to take some action because of the public outrage over it to kind of scale it all back, but nonetheless, he vetoed that bill. So what Kyle Kulinski thinks you could do is point out, okay, yeah, this guy is basically working for the Saudis. And agree or disagree, I think you definitely got a stronger case that could be made there than anything they had on Russia. Okay? Now, my only problem with that theory, where people say that would work, that would probably actually have much better of a success than what they're pushing for now. What they're pushing for now, hear me now, quote me later, okay? If I'm wrong, I'll make a video admitting that I was, boo-boo the fool. Okay? But this is going to fall flat on its ass. They're not going anywhere with this. This is going to be nothing but colossal failure for the Democrats. And if they're not careful, and I really don't think they're being too careful, especially when you consider that this whistleblower who this whole thing's even coming from, the Trump campaign is also going to argue that Adam Schiff, a man who's been pushing the Russia propaganda, Russiagate, people like him have already tarnished their reputation. That's why Trump's poll numbers went up after Russiagate. Because people like Adam Schiff have been exposed to be so freaking full of it, they need to take a bottle of X-Lax to purge all the crap out of their body. They're that full. Their eyes are brown. Okay? That's how bad this whole mess is. And the CIA whistleblower has apparently met with Adam Schiff before he blew the whistle. So you don't think Trump's going to sit there and say, he tried to talk him into saying that. He put him up to it. He put him up to it. More witch hunt. More collusion. And you think people won't honestly believe it? Heck, it wouldn't surprise me if it isn't true. Even I could believe that story because they're playing such dumb games. So going down this road, it's going to fall flat on its ass. Plain and simple. The other option, the emoluments, Saudi Arabia, you may actually have something. But Trump's got an argument for that too. You could say, okay, war crimes. He's put someone who was involved in the CIA torture scandal in charge, Gina Haspel. Okay? Again, you may have valid points. It may not be as strong of an argument from Trump, but it will be an argument from Trump. And rest assured, I do believe he will win quite a few votes and keep quite a few votes with this counter argument. If they try to nail him with any of that, the very first thing he's going to turn to, Saudi Arabia, Hillary Clinton. He's going to run down the list. Clinton been taking money from Saudis, and he'll just go through the list of politicians that have ties to Saudi Arabia. And you know what it's going to look like? A double standard. And he's going to say, so wait a minute. They're saying that because I have the Saudis, doing business with me, that means I've got to be working for them. Well, what makes them any different? You really entrust you trust the fox to go into the hen house here, really? They're taking money from them too. They're the ones trying to investigate me for taking money from them, but they're taking money from them. How can they hold me accountable for doing the same thing that they're doing? And you think people won't sit there and say, yeah, right? That's a good point. If they're doing the same thing, well, they're just full of crap, aren't they? Torture, war crimes. You're going to hold Trump accountable, but you didn't hold George Bush and Dick Cheney accountable? Oh, no, that's right. Nancy Pelosi said that was definitely, certainly, without question, off the table. Wasn't happening. Oh, no. No. We won't impeach George Bush. It's a waste of time. We're not going to do it. Of course, we find out Nancy Pelosi actually knew some stuff about the whole CIA torture scandal, waterboarding, and whatnot. So they wouldn't go after Bush. They wouldn't go after Cheney. No one from the Bush administration was held accountable for war crimes. But you're going to try to pin it on President Trump. Well, what's Trump going to say? Trump's not been shy to go after a Bush, first and foremost. And so if they try to take him from that angle, he's going to turn around and say, hey, I don't care if there was an R after the last name of George Bush or his daddy or his brother. They are the status quo. They are the swamp. I'm your president for the people, of the people, and by the people. And I'm here to drain that swamp. And just because there's an R after his last name and a D after her last name doesn't mean one thing. They all work together, and those are the ones we have to get rid of. That's the message the man ran on, and it won. And he's going to make the argument the only reason they're doing it to me is because I'm doing what should be done. I am doing the right thing. They don't want me in office because I'm not playing ball the way DC wants me to play ball. I'm playing ball for the people. Now, believe what you want on that. Okay? Maybe you feel he is. Maybe you feel he isn't. But the bigger picture here is he's going to convince a lot of people with that argument. He's going to point out so many double standards in Washington, it's not going to be funny if you try to take him from any direction. Even if you've got legal precedents for it, the public will not like it. You won't win. Now, there's some people who have support. Apparently, the majority do support the inquiry. But I'm telling you right now, that's just the beginning stages. Let this thing unfold. Let him keep making his counter argument. Let him hit a debate stage and make those counter arguments. He'll be ripping rallies up and down this country, making those arguments, making that argument. Okay? It doesn't matter what angle they hit him from, he has an argument. Some are weaker than others, but all are definitely strong enough that I think he's going to win a lot of support from the people, right or wrong. It's going to happen. And by it happening, the Democrats are they're tying their own noose and putting it around their neck with this political strategy. And again, I'm not saying he should be allowed to be above the law. They've just backed themselves into a corner from years and years and years and years and years of this other people within their nice little inner circle being above the law. Because for all this time, they've let their buddies be above the law for their dirty deals. When they try to go after the one they don't like, and he has such a following that he has, there's no doubt Trump has a very loyal fan base. When you try to go after him, and then he has the slightest of wiggle room to scream fake news, witch hunt, double standard, that's rigged against me. Oh, God. His people are going to believe it. And it's not even a matter of he's having to lie to them either. He's just simply telling them the truth. You want to do to me what you won't do to other people who has way more evidence against them than you have against me of doing the exact same things, similar or worse. But you wouldn't charge them. You wouldn't hold them accountable. You just want to come after me. It's a witch hunt. And he's going to win that argument. He's going to win that argument big time. So, again, I say, think what you want of Fox News or anybody else. They have made the case that this is how it's going to pan out. This is how it's going to pan out. You can like it or not. And I'm not saying that to sound overly cocky or to be a smart aleck. That's just how it's going to pan out. Because they have set too much of a double standard. The people see it. And when you give Trump the airtime, of course, the Democrat base just want him gone. They're not going to flip. The majority of them, at least, won't flip. Independents might. And the Republicans, his base is going to be ready to bust hell's gates down with gasoline drawers come election time. They are going to be on serious fire for that election. Okay? Russia, impeachment, blah, 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 blah. Nothing's getting done. The Trump Make America Great Again base will be so energized for that election. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see an even bigger turnout than you did in 2016, because they're going to feel like, okay, yeah, we really have to get out and fight. We won the first round. We slacked off in 2018. We lost the House. It's time to go back, kick ass, and take names. That's going to be their mindset. And meanwhile, if anything, if they don't nominate the right Democrat candidate, and they keep pushing an impeachment that clearly has double standard, if God forbid that nominee were to be Joe Biden, stick a fork in it. It's over. It's done. It's done. It's done. It is done, son. Okay? So, that being said, again, think what you want about Fox. They have made the argument perfectly. The Democrats are doing this at their own peril. Even if it's the right thing to do, because of the years of the double standard and the corruption on Capitol Hill, it doesn't matter if they're doing the right thing. He has the perfect counter argument for it. He's going to sink them. He's going to tank them. And if they even wanted to proceed with impeachment, the bigger problem, other than the fact he's got the counter argument, is they perhaps picked, out of all the things you could look at, the worst one on the list to attempt to use against him. It's going to come back to bite him. Mark my words.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Independent Report. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up and like the video. Also, if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to ask, or topics you'd like us to cover, please drop a comment in the comment box below. And also, please subscribe to the channel, and if you do subscribe, ring that bell so you'll stay up to date when we drop new videos and you'll get notifications of it. And also, please support us on Patreon. Funds are going to be used to grow and improve this channel so we can reach more and more people and spread the message that the mainstream media doesn't want to tell people. We hope you'll tune in next time.